Good morning, everyone. Today we'll start this week with discussion on the brain health. And we all know, brain impacts various biological functions inside our body, right? And we're also going to discuss how our microbiome, impacts our brain health, right? And given the current situation, lifestyle, environment, uh, there are a lot of stress, whether it is financial related or relationship related or work stress, when there is stress, there's a high fight and flight response, which tells our body something is wrong, and our body goes a lot of, non-essential functions such as digestive system, you know, immune system. Then we start, catching sickness, developing sickness, and so stress. Is actually linked to a lot of diseases what we have right now, right? So essentially, it's easy to say, regularity of stress, but there are multiple factors which impact our brain stress level. That is obviously the first and the foremost really important pillar is nutrition choices, right? The food we eat, our sleeping pattern, how many hours you are sleeping, what is the quality of sleep, how much is the deep sleep, right? And our physical activity, right? So uh, you always doesn't need don't need to have 2 hours of workout every day. That is insane. Just have 30 to 40 minutes of workout, whether it is a brisk walk or whether it is a bit of strength training or yoga or meditation, or cycling, whatever you do, it's really impacts the workout. Movement impacts your brain health, right? So today we're going to discuss certain specific molecular ingredients in various foods which impact our brain health, right? The first foremost is eggs, right? So again, eggs is something always we say eat. Eggs should be consumed every day, and eggs is a great source of vitamin 6, vitamin B12, folate, right? It also contains choline, which is required for producing acetylcholine, and acetylcholine is one of the neurotransmitter which improves our memory and learning capabilities, right? It also have another compound which is called phospholipid, which is said to reduce blood cholesterol during stress levels, right? So egg is really, really important. So what we look at vitamin B6, B12, folate absorption. We look at, your brain and cognitive health, right? To determine what is the current state of your, brain health right now, right? And but however, it there's nothing called as some healthy food or diet, right? So eggs are also high in methane and sulfur. So if you have a lot of sulfate reducing bacteria in your gut, right, these microbes can actually metabolize methane and sulfur and convert into H2S, which is said to cause bloating, gas, and a lot of other digestive issues, right? So really need to learn, you know, not eating eggs is whether eggs is right or not. You really need to know how the molecules or various chemicals in the egg are being metabolized by your microbiome. Right? Second is green tea, right? We all know green tea is really, really high in antioxidants, right? It can inhibit the brain overactivity and it can have a calming effect. It can even improve our memory, right? It does provide productive effects to the brain, right? But green tea has medium oxalate levels. So if you have a high oxalate metabolism, right? So green tea may be inflammatory for you, right? So essentially, you really need to know the overall uh, how green tea is again being metabolized. So we'll look at your you know uh, oxalate metabolism. If it's really really suboptimal, it's average. So green tea may come up either in minimizer or word list. Third is fatty fish, right? Again, fatty fish is really really high in omega-3 fatty acids, which actually reduces the risk of cognitive decline as linked with increased learning, right? It also helps in facilitating between brain cells, right? Uh, fatty fish is very high in purines, right? So if you have a lot of bacteria which can convert purine into uric acid, right? It can cause issue of gout and also have a negative cardiovascular effects. It can suppress nitric oxide, which is set to regulate the blood pressure. So essentially, high uric acid can actually elevate your blood pressure level, right? Shiitake mushroom, again, it is, a lot of people may not know about it, but it contains a natural GABA, which is a neurotransmitter that is said to have a calming effect, right? It also improves your memory and your cognitive function. It also contains another, molecule, arthoniine, which protects brain from oxidative stress, right? Uh, Again, if you have any high histamine production, right, shiitake mushroom may not be good for you because it stimulates histamine production, right? Uh, it also contains methane and sulfur, which may trigger SIBO, right? So what we look at your histamine overproduction, look at your methane gas production. If these are suboptimal or even at average level, right? So shiitake mushroom may be recommended as a food to be minimized, or it has to be avoided. Turmeric, again, we all think turmeric or haldi, whatever we call it, right? It is really, really anti-inflammatory. It is, right? It improves our energy and memory, and it protects our central nervous system. But turmeric stimulates our bile acid production, and bile acid, we require for fat digestion. If your bile acid metabolism really, really suboptimal, right? Turmeric may trigger pro-inflammatory impact, right? So essentially, uh, we look at your bile acid score. We look at how well your microbes are, how well your secondary acid is being converted back into primary acid, or probably there's a high level of bile acid being moved to the large intestine, which can have a pro-inflammatory impact. So turmeric may, uh, cause be a situation of digestive issues. Right? Turkey, again, turkey contains tryptophan, and we know tryptophan, a bit of tryptophan is metabolized by a microbiome into serotonin. Serotonin, we know, is a happy hormone. It regulates our mood and behavior, right? It keeps us happy, right? So essentially, turkey is really, really important to up regulate our serotonin production. We look at your serotonin production, look at the microbes, how well microbes are metabolizing tryptophan into serotonin, right? But turkey also have tyrosine, right? So certain microbes in the gut can metabolize tyrosine and tryptophan into uremic toxins such as precursor and oxide sulfate, which have an adverse cardiovascular effect and even impact your kidney function. We know uremic toxin is said to trigger chronic kidney disease. Right? Dark chocolate, right? Again, dark chocolate is really, really high in antioxidant flavonoids, which helps in reducing our cortisol levels and even enhance our mood and memory, right? But again, as I mentioned, there's nothing called as universal healthy food or diet, right? So cocoa, which is normally found in any of the dark chocolate, right, can stimulate histamine production, right? If you have a high histamine production or histamine intolerance, right, cocoa can trigger headache, migraine, and fatigue, right? So essentially, when you're buying dark chocolate, do also check your sugar levels, right? Because or the amount of artificial sweeteners, because again, most of the dark chocolates come with sugar laden into it, right? Or probably you can prefer date chocolates, date dark chocolates, which actually uh, are better, but probably if you have an you have suboptimal oxidate metabolism, probably dates may be avoided, right? So again, it all boils down to your own biology, right? So that is what we do, right? So we study your biological function at a molecular level, right? To tell you what is going on inside your body. We give you a complete picture of your health at a molecular level, and then you can decide, Then we also give you, what foods you should consume more of, what food you should minimize, what food you should moderate, what food you should avoid, right? If you want to know more about us, please visit our website, genefitleticS.com, genefertilities.com. That's it for today. Have a great day.